Now, when we're talking about stroke, we are talking about a brain attack and interruption of blood flow to an area of the brain. Based upon what area of the brain is affected, that will result in what exact signs and symptoms that we get with that particular stroke. Now, when we're talking about stroke, we have ischemic strokes and hemorrhagic stroke. Ischemic strokes, they're more common. About 87% of strokes are ischemic, 13% hemorrhagic. What that means, well, 8 out of 10 strokes are a blood clot in the brain, and about 1 to 2 out of 10 strokes are blood inside the brain itself. So think about a blood clot versus a bursting vessel, right? Ischemic, hemorrhagic. You may have heard about someone saying, wow, that blood pressure is really high, you're gonna have a stroke. They're saying you're at risk of a hemorrhagic stroke, bursting a vessel, because that high pressure in the arteries. Get where I'm going? Okay. Now let's talk about these signs and symptoms. We're taught in EMS, there are certain conditions and emergencies that mimic a stroke. You've probably heard me say in this channel, no stroke is a stroke until you get a blood glucose level. That's because someone who's hypoglycemic, that can mimic and look like a stroke, but it's just hypoglycemia. So if you're thinking about a stroke, first, please remember this, get a blood glucose level because it could be hypoglycemia. Other things, there are certain seizures, atypical seizures that can mimic a stroke. For example, like absent seizures that kind of appear to be, looks like the patient's having a stroke. Another thing is the post-ictal state, which is the post-seizure state, if you will. That state, they can appear to be like having a stroke. Any altered mental status patient can mimic a stroke. See, anytime you have altered mental status, you should be doing a stroke scale and watching out for the signs and symptoms we're going to talk about in a moment. Now, epidural and subdural bleeding, think about head trauma, other reasons for having blood around the brain, that can also mimic a stroke as well. Now, these are hallmark signs and symptoms, and I'm going to give you a mnemonic to remember these in a moment, but let's go over them. So first is facial droop. So if we have one side of the face that is drooping and one is normal, that is facial droop. So we can test this by having the patient smile. If the patient smiles at us, what do we get back? Do we have an abnormality or not? The arm drift test we can do like this if one arm drops, or if the patient says one arm or one leg feels weak and they're unable to move it when they normally can move it fine, that's weakness unilaterally on one side. That is what we want to look for. Headache and nausea, vomiting, often overlooked. A very severe headache with nausea, vomiting, we want to watch out for that. No speech, slurred speech, trouble speaking, trouble swallowing, I'll include as well in there as a bonus tip. This is something we want to watch for. Vertigo, so the room is spinning. Vision problems, blurred vision, not seeing out of one eye. Watch out for that. And then finally, balance and gait problems. Now, let me give you a mnemonic to remember this for life. So you're going to see a few different mnemonics. There's a fast mnemonic, faster, be fast, all different kinds. The one that puts it all together I like the most is be fast. So here it is. So B is for balance loss. Remember, balance, gait. They're normally able to walk fine. Now they can't even move across the room. Balance loss. Eyesight change. Remember that vision. Vision in one eye. They're blurred vision. We talk about vertigo, right? So things like that. Facial droop. We got that one down. Arm drift on exam. Unilateral one side arm weakness. Speech problems. They can't speak. Remember with this S2, remember that difficulty swallowing. Come out of nowhere, so watch out for that. And then T is time. So the big thing is, when were they last seen normal? And I would also add to that, if there is a family member or a friend or a bystander there, what is their normal baseline mentation? What's normal for them? And we can compare that to where they're at now. There it is. Now, a lot of you asked in the comments about how to prepare for school. how to get through school, and how to pass NREMT. The first link in the description is a study tool that I give to all my students to accomplish all of that. It's called the Video Vault. Inside the Video Vault is over 480 videos of content, audio files, worksheets, practice quizzes, our community group. What I do in the Video Vault is take all the concepts you need to know to pass school at NREMT, and I break them down simply for you, so that way you just follow along with the videos, you follow the study plan, and you pass. I give my students lifetime access in the first link in the description, and I'll see you on the inside.